Welcome to this week's test flight, where we're looking at something that's synonymous with the Cold War. It is the unique looking MiG-21. Please join us. Welcome to the runway. So our first craft today is the MiG-21bis Fishbed C by Yaeah, links down below. This is an interesting one we started off with because it's got custom landing gear that I have to lock and unlock to do things. I'm going to just get going because this has some interesting little features that I want to show you. So it has, if we try and turn a little bit, it has custom landing gear. You can actually see under there. So I'm going to have to actually toggle that off and things to actually close it up, but it is not the best of craft on the ground. I'll give that sort of point there. This is actually the third time I've attempted to take off, and the first two it wasn't a case of problems taking off, it was a case of problems with it falling over. So let's see, we'll just get a bit of height, and while it's getting height we're going to try and retract the gear. So I have to unlock it with action group 3, and then I have to retract it. I don't know what the action group is for that, but we'll just do that's too far. Let's go to about there. That's lovely, and then we'll just lock them off again, and got to do the other one, do the same thing up to about here and lock that off. Wonderful. And close that. Oh, they do that. I see. Okay. Oh, you just use the gear button. Oh, well, that's silly. If you do this, don't do what I've just done. Just unlock it with action group 3 and then use G for gear and it'll do it for you. Well, that's well thought out by the designer there, actually. Well done for him. I am not that bright. Right, so the MiG-21 was had its first flight in 1955 and was first sort of put into production in 1959. It was designed by the USSR as pretty much a supersonic interceptor craft, following on from the I think it's the MiG-19, 17, 15, and so forth. It had a massively long life and was actually used by a huge number of countries. Can I actually get rid of the? There we go. Get rid of the fuel tank. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to turn it around. We're going to come back around. I'm going to be talking. And we'll try and land it. Now I don't know how this is going to go with this craft because, as I say, it has custom landing gear, and it would actually help if I got a bit of height as I turned. That's better. Well done. Come on, sea monsters. Right. Yeah, the MiG-21 is as a child growing up in the UK and with in the 80s and 90s. It was in the sort of movies. It has that front look that just to me it wasn't so much a Russian sort of plane or a plane from the USSR. It was the bad people's plane. It was used with its distinctive pointy nose to represent the bad people in movies that had some sort of air combat component to them. When in actual fact it's been used by a huge number of air forces around the world. And while I talk about that, I'm actually going to pull the gear down. We're going to action 3 unlock and see if the gears will go down. Are they going down? Oh, here we go. Oh, they are down. How exciting. So I must say I love the landing gear design. I think that's brilliant. I'm not sure how practical it is for me, but you know, I think it's brilliant, and it's going to be interesting. Oh no, do I have to lock them again? That's a good point. Yeah, it's got to be locked. Right. So if you're at all fidgety about that, yeah, difficult. Now, obviously, because it uses hinges, it needs the additional DLC for Kerbal. So although I've always said this is stock, this is semi-stock. Oh, we're going a bit fast there. We're just going to skip. Oh, let's go to kangaroo. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. So, ow. The MiG-21bis Fishbed C by Yaeah, links down below. I'm sure you can land that much better than me. Right, let's try another one. Right, we're on the runway again with another of our MiG-21 craft. This is the MiG-21 from Gelo 10102, links down below. This is much more sort of typical Kerbal craft. If you have a look, it's got standard landing gear, but it still has that amazing the look of the MiG-21. While I start the engines up and get going, because we can. Oh, afterburners, how nice. Put a bit of that on. This is probably going to take off quite easily. Let's go. Ooh. Yeah, look at that. Get the landing gear up. This is a much easier craft to take off than the previous one. This is your standard sort of approach for Kerbal taking off. Can I turn off the afterburners? Let's just drop it down to a little bit of thrust. That's better. That's calmer. Oh, actually, no, it needs full thrust. Right. So, you can see actually from the craft its distinctive shape, the sort of triangular wings, the delta wings on it. This meant that it actually got the nickname of the Balaika because of its sort of resemblance to the stringing instrument of the same name. In Polish, it was also referred to as the Polish for pencil, but I cannot pronounce that because I'm terrible at other languages, obviously. Because of its fuselage and the fact it looked like a pencil. If you actually look at the tip, you've got that distinctive pencil look. Right, so let's have a look at turning around the pencil. As I said before, that the MiG-21 was actually it was portrayed often in the media, or at least the American movie sort of screeners, as the bad plane. I think partly because it was going up against sort of the American fighters and the Cold War and so forth was a big thing, but it was actually used by a huge number of countries. That's better. Look at that. It's a lovely view. It was used by a huge number of countries over the years. It's too far away. And it flies beautifully. Actually, this is a wonderful craft. I couldn't have to worry about that. Even in the current world, it's being used. So it's still used in places like Angola, Azerbaijan, even Croatia in Europe, Romania. Primarily, you're looking at like India still uses a large number of them. But places in sort of the Middle East and in Africa, so Egypt, Libya, Mali, Mozambique, Syria, Sudan, all these places use it. But you've also got places like North Korea have used it in the past. It is it's like the AK-47 of planes. Let's get rid of its flight tank. Oh, we have found a flaw with this model. Its extra fuel tank is clipped and is causing a problem. Let's see if we can just... Oh, that's not good, is it? Have we got rid of it yet? No, we have not. Okay, that's going to make it. So, note to self, problem with... let's get some fuel on. See if we can try and just get this thing out. Is it clipped into us? Yeah, look, it's offset, and that's annoying. So yeah, obviously the one problem with this model is that, but actually apart from that, this is a really good representation of the craft. So what I would be tempted to do is actually to get rid of that fuel tank if I was redesigning this a little bit, just because although it gives it its distinctive, so look, a lot of the MiG-21s would carry the extra fuel tank basically just for extended range, or it would be a torpedo of some sort. I believe this is probably a torpedo that's designed for. Yeah, let's try gliding it in with its fuel tank on. This is going to end badly, isn't it? I think I'm developing a tradition in this series of just collapsing the planes everywhere, but let's try it. It's probably going to go wrong. A bit of a tight fall. Let's just pull that up. Yeah. Ooh. There we go. So, yeah, that is the MiG-21. Actually, we should put the brakes on. That would be the MiG-21 from Gelo 10102. I think it's a lovely version of the plane actually, and I definitely recommend giving it a go. Probably get rid of that missile though if you're going to do anything, because that's just causing problems, isn't it? So on to the next one. We are back on the runway, this time with the MiG-21F-13 Fishbed C. This is by Juhnu. I think we've actually flown some of his craft before. This is the first of the craft that I've seen, the MiG-21s, that actually doesn't have a pilot. This is a probe-driven craft. It's also got an interesting rear there, which is quite intriguing. A little bit of clipping going on there and all sorts of things. This is quite a high part count craft, but it is very good looking. It is very good looking. You can see the work on the cockpit there. It's even got its little, I think is it refueling arm or whatever on the front there. This is a beautiful little craft. So let's try taking off. So we got engines on full. Get a bit of SAS, just turn that off. Get the brakes off would actually be a good idea. Yes, that's good. Right, let's try this. See, this sounds nice. This says it feels nice. This is good. This is one. How quick can it take off? Oh yeah, look at that. Now, interestingly, he has got the whole clipped tail fin there. So he's got the elevators and whatnot inside the flaps and whatnot inside the actual tail, which is interesting. Does he have landing gear? Does weird things. Okay, so he's got interesting landing gear, has he? Do I need to got a communitron there? What have we got up here? What's this? Aha. Unlock it. Let's try to get landing gear again. Aha. Okay. Oh. Now we've got now they're out of sync. Well, that's just annoying, isn't it? So we'll try locking it. Getting the gear down for all of them. Right. It's the only problem with the custom landing gear bit. You have to do it at the right time. There we go. So that's lovely. That is lovely little bit of work. I'm sure the first one we looked at was as good as that as well. Actually, I think there's been a lot of work done there on landing gear and so forth. So let's try this. This is a little slower to turn, although we are actually going faster. It's a little less maneuverable than the others, but it's probably more realistic in actual fact, because you know fighters don't just, although they are nimble, they don't just turn on a dime like some of the Kerbal planes present. It would be interesting to see actually planes like this designed in realism overhaul. I think that would be really cool. We'll just cut the engines off there. So we're going to come round and we're going to come in for a landing. So yeah, so the MiG-21 was used massively by pretty much everybody. I think, for example, like one of the countries that amused me when I was looking at this was Belgium. Belgium did used to own MiG-21s, and you know, as somebody in Europe, that's an interesting idea. You know, Belgium is pretty much mainland Europe. It is the centre of Europe. It's, you know, the fighting ground for the French and the Germans for, you know, 100 years. And really interesting that it should actually have. I think we're going to put a bit more power in the engine because I'm falling like a brick right now. Yeah, I think this engine is possibly underpowered on this. I'm not sure you'd get it up to Mach 2, which was the top sort of speed of the MiG-21. I haven't mentioned that. It of course couldn't do that at sea level. It could only do about, I think, 1 point something. But up at sort of, I think it's 10 kilometers up, something like that, it would be able to do. It would be able to do Mach 2, or just over Mach 2 actually. It's like Mach 2 point. I don't know. I want to say 2.01 or 2.1 or something like that. We'll just lock the landing gear because, you know. Now the interesting thing about this one is compared to the first one we looked at with custom landing gear, I did not even realise this one had it because it was so stable on the runway. I think this is a credit to Juhnu for this one, and I'm probably butchering that name. I think it's a wonderful little craft. You know, I think could be a little bit more manoeuvrable, but then maybe it's a bit more realistic because of that. So we'll try and come in and land it. So yeah, at one point the MiG-21 actually had the longest production run history of any aircraft. I think it was competing with the, I want to say the some of the lower numbered fighters in America. I think was it the Phantom and things like that. I'd have to check actually. I don't want to misquote things. Oh, there we go. It's coming in. Let's cut the engine. We're going to drop like a brick because I've just realised I haven't actually been doing anything with the engine. Oh dear. yeah, we'll just end that there really quickly. I think we'll just assume that was a good landing. Yeah, it was fine, perfect landing. Yeah, not a problem. No problems. Oh, not at all. Oh, not a problem. Not at all. Nothing gone wrong. Right, welcome to the runway again. We're coming towards the end of this. I think we've got another one of these to go, which is going to be a little bit different. But this is the MiG-21 Performance by HB-Stratos. It's just running down the runway a little bit. I cut the last one off a little early, so you didn't see all the bangs. But that was partly because it was taking forever to render, because the previous craft, when it crashed, almost took out my computer. I didn't actually realize how many clip parts there were in it. So if you plan to use that one, please don't crash it, because it will pause everything. So let's have a look. Get that on there, get some power going. Let's take off with this. So here we go. This again, it looks like it's a lovely little craft. It's really streamlined. This is the performance version. Is it going to give us the performance we want, though? That's the question. It takes up, whoa, okay. That was not what I intended to do there. So this is yeah, it's really eager to go up, obviously. Let's have a look what we've got. So little tail fin on the bottom there, a bit of clipping occurring, I think. It's a bit of an odd one. Maybe that was meant to be happening, I don't know. Nice ends to the wings, some sort of structural sort of components around the outside of the engine to keep its shape. That's nice. The nose is, I think, yeah, it's like a custom nose, so it's not using the standard sort of aerospike type nose. It's not a rocket. Normal supersonic intake that Kerbал's got. I think that's actually been modified. Right. Let's see. Whoa. Oh, this is not stable. Whoa. Come on. Okay. Yeah. Right. Let's just get back to base, I think. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Well, we've got a flame out. The engine has flamed out. We've done this again. Come on. So I think we've got quite a lot of component parts here that are aerodynamic. Come on. Nope. Why do I always end up spinning them like this? Yeah. Let's just... his hatch is obstructed? Oh, great. That's wonderful. So he has an obstructed hatch. So I can't even bail the pilot out if I wanted to. Now, interestingly, it's reasonably stable pointing once it gets onto its trajectory, but you move away from it. Okay, so that's an amazing recovery. I don't actually know how I did that. So, yeah, this craft is very twitchy. I don't know if I like that. Realistic, I suppose, but I think it's probably got something to do with the way it's designed. But yeah, if you are, oh dear, I don't really want to do that turning away, because I don't have the power to get out of this. I'm gonna have to restart the engines. Let's just, yeah, we'll just hop over you. There we go. All right. Yeah, it's very twitchy. I quite like it, actually, now that I've got used to the fact that you can't turn it violently. So it's not the most maneuverable of craft. It does look really good. It is designed, I'd imagine, for a high top speed. Oh, come on. Go. Oh. Yeah, that climb and everything else is just a little bit too vicious for my liking. Probably would help if I knew where the land was. There we go. We got a little bit of stuff. However, it lands unlike all the others. I don't know whether that's down to it or me, though. So yeah, so that's the MiG-21's performance. Yeah, if you like a twitchy plane that you have to really respect, I think this is the one to have. You need to make sure that it's staying on that forward vector, and you are just controlling it ever so slightly. Probably very realistic. I think it'd be quite interesting to see it in Ferrum or something like that, to see what it's like in more realistic aero conformations. But let's move on. So here we are on the runway with our final craft. I should really just get really close so you don't realize, but this is the Pico Mig-21 by Bean-Can. You can actually see just how small it is. He's using tiny little wing pieces. The landing gear are right through the top of the wings there, which end up looking a bit like additional missile or fuel pods. And I think the MiG-21 had stuff like that, so that's semi-accurate. It's really cool. Right, let's try this. This should fly really quite fast because it's got an engine on a very small craft. It doesn't have much fuel on board, though. I wonder how much part clipping we've got. Obviously, it is tiny. Oh, no. Oh, we got lost a wing. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Yo. Okay. Maybe leave that one a little bit before you try and take off. Needs a bit of speed. Well, that was a lovely little craft, but on that, I'm going to say have a great one.